From Wits and Weights, I am Philip Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest in nutrition, fat loss, and health science, all in under 5 minutes. Why do you feel hungry at certain times of the day? Is it your stomach growling, your brain sending signals? Is it both? A new study sheds light on how the brain's neural circuits regulate hunger and meal initiation. And this could change how we approach managing our weight, our fat loss, our eating behaviors, our hunger levels, all of the things that I care very deeply about in making this a sustainable process. Published in Nature Neuroscience, the study identifies two key players in hunger regulation: GABA, that's gamma aminobutyric acid, and dopamine. So GABA and dopamine. These neurotransmitters work together to send signals from your brain to your body, and they prompt you to seek food when energy levels are low. The researchers mapped out specific brain regions responsible for triggering these signals, including the hypothalamus, which acts as the brain's control center for hunger and energy balance. Interestingly, the study found that GABA and dopamine don't just tell you when to eat. They also influence how rewarding the food feels. When these neurotransmitters are activated, they create a feedback loop that reinforces eating behavior, which might explain why certain foods are just so irresistible. This discovery has significant implications for managing overeating, food addiction, even conditions like binge eating disorder. By understanding how these neural pathways work, the scientists hope to develop targeted therapies that can regulate hunger signals more effectively. Now, what does this mean for you in your day-to-day eating habits? I'm going to share 3 takeaways that I took from this study. Number 1, always listen to your body. Always recognize the difference between true hunger and emotional cravings, and that can often help you interfere or cause a pattern interrupt in your decision-making at the moment. And by the way, just side tangent, I have a hunger scale and diary that I use with clients, and I've talked about it on my other podcast. If you want that, reach out to me. Send me a message on Instagram at Wits and Weights. The link is always in the show notes. And ask for the guide and I will send it to you. But definitely being able to pattern interrupt the hunger signal when it comes, it can often help make the difference between over-consuming and not. Number 2, structuring your meals so that you have regular eating patterns. This means, yes, scheduling your meals and snacks. Not just that, but also planning them, doing meal planning, but even just scheduling them, having reminders like this is when I eat, period. Not fasting. It doesn't have to be fasting. It could be a normal meal schedule, but to regulate those hunger hormones and neurotransmitters and reduce the likelihood of overeating, having a consistent times that you eat go a long way toward controlling these brain signals. And then number 3 is just prioritizing protein-rich meals. We know that high protein as well as fiber, but I'm just suggesting protein right now, have been shown to increase satiety quite a bit and reduce hunger. And then they keep the GABA and dopamine signals in check. So listening to your body, structuring your meals for regular eating patterns, and prioritizing protein are 3 huge things that you can start with that are very accessible. Now, hunger is influenced by a lot of things, not just these. It's also influenced by sleep, by stress, by your physical activity, whether you're dieting or not right now, all of that can affect hunger. And it's up to you to kind of balance these out and track your biofeedback to make sure you have a sustainable, healthy relationship with food. And that's something we get into on the main podcast, Wits and Weights, if you want to dive into that. But I think the big takeaway really is hunger is not about willpower. It really isn't. It's an interplay of brain signals, hormones, and environment. That is really where it comes from. So don't feel like you are alone if you're struggling with overeating, for example, or maintaining your weight. If you understand how these systems work, you can make smarter, more intentional choices about when and what to eat and kind of manage this situation. All right, if this episode opened your eyes to the science of hunger, follow Wits and Weights for more insights into nutrition and behavior. We've definitely had some experts on there and have talked about hunger and appetite. I can point you to those episodes if you send me a message. Share this episode with someone curious about the connection between brain science and eating habits. And that's it for this week on Nutrition Science Daily. Hit follow to get a fresh new episode on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend.